how do I introduce this guy? Live from Houston, it's Wednesday afternoon. He is fresh off his fantastic SNL hosting appearance. He is perennial Pro Bowler, future Hall of Famer, J.J. Watt here on the show. How are you, J.J.?
Rich, I'm good. I want to say that was a beautiful segue.
Thank you.
From
Appreciate
the Parade brothers over to me, so that was great.
You know what, JJ? I'm just got to bring my A game with you. As a matter of fact, I will describe to you what I'm doing. I am removing my Rich Eisen Show coffee mug here, and I am replacing it in honor of you calling in with you on one side of a mug, celebrating what appears to be a sack from your Wisconsin days and the final score of this year's Wisconsin-Michigan game that's saying, "This cup holds Rich Eisen's tears." So I'm doing that right here.
What a beautiful mug. Just well-designed. Just glad to see it on the air. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know what, JJ? It's just an unfortunate development, but it is one that I own. And it's also proof that you've got the comedy chops. That's why you got the call from SNL. That's why you got that call.
They did say that. They did say we saw the mug on Rich Eisen, and that was the final straw.
I'm a factor? Are you saying I'm a factor? I was a factor in this whole thing?
I'm saying you're the factor.
Thank
Rich.
you, JJ.
I don't know if you understand the pull you have.
I appreciate that. When did you first get that call from NBC?
A couple weeks back. And, it's SNL. It's such an exciting, iconic show, and I grew up in Wisconsin, and Chris Farley, and just some of his bits and skits, and Matt Foley, the motivational speaker, and just legendary stuff. And so for me to be able to go there and to see everything, and they showed me some of the old Farley stuff and he had written something on a wall there that they showed me, and it was a really, really cool experience.
Can you repeat what he wrote on a wall, or that just has to stay?
They showed me this. So when you're doing the show, you are literally sprinting from place to place, like quick changes and dress changes and all that. And there's one area where if you don't duck, if you're over 6 feet tall and you don't duck, you will absolutely rock your forehead. And they said that Farley used to hit it over and over and over again because he would be sprinting and didn't know. So they put like this big pad with like bright colors on it and everything, and he wrote on there "for Farley" just because it was for him specifically. And so they showed me that, and it was really cool.
And it probably helped you with all that. I mean, again, we're scrolling through some stills from your appearance. You made many changes, many wigs. There seemed to be some makeup involved as well. Yeah. I mean, walk me through.
It's incredible.
That, yeah.
So obviously during the week you get fitted for wigs, all your wigs. They make basically a full mold of your head, and then they build the wigs off of that mold. And then for the Bigfoot sketch where they actually put prosthetics on my face,
right?
You go in and you get a full mold of your face made, kind of like when you get a teeth mold at the dentist when they put that stuff in your mouth, to form against your teeth. They do that, but with your whole face, and then they build that. During the show, it truly is crazy. Like I said, you're sprinting from place to place, and as soon as you get to a quick change location, you just put your arms out, put your legs out, and there are 3 people just ripping clothes off of you, throwing new clothes on you. Wigs are flying. It's insane.
So I imagine, though, J.J. Watt here on the Rich Eisen Show, I imagine, though, the toughest thing for you was that monologue. Would that be the safest assumption, or what, to get out there and just?
I would say as far as the writing of it goes, that was definitely something that we spent a lot of time on, just because for me, I wanted it to be as much in my voice, in my comfort level as I felt we could make it. And so obviously early in the week, they don't know me that well. I don't know them that well. And so we're trying to write something funny and good together without knowing each other that well. And then as the week goes on, if you saw the monologue from Wednesday and then you saw what was on Saturday night, and they don't look even recognizable to each other. And so I think that was my biggest thing, is I always said, even if the monologue flops or doesn't do good or anything, I at least want to feel comfortable with it and have it be in my voice. And I feel like we got to a really good place on Saturday night with it, and I was very happy with it.
Well, during Super Bowl week, I had Deion Sanders on my show down in Miami, and I asked him, what advice would you give J.J. Watt for hosting Saturday Night Live? Because, he did it way back in the day. And he said that you're going to have a lot of ideas pitched at you, and you got to be comfortable with the ones that you do. Which was the one that you were most, I guess, comfortable doing out of all the ideas that we actually saw on television, JJ?
The one that immediately when they pitched it on, I think it was Tuesday, that I knew it was going to be gold was the Rudy skit, the Robbie Rudy. I mean, I grew up watching Rudy as one of my favorite movies of all time. I loved it, iconic. And then when they pitched it and we just started flowing with the jokes and we started going through what the dialogue could look like and the janitor and the 5 foot nothing 100. It was just, I was like, this is going to be golden.
Well, I mean, and the best part about it is, again, you're the guy that refuses to let the coach use the undersized guy's inspiration. You're just standing there pointing out, we cannot go on the field with this guy.
It's so good, and it's just the actors are so funny, and Keenan, whenever he says anything, is hilarious. It was so much fun.
And so, what did you say? I just can't do. Can you tell me what wound up on the cutting room floor, JJ?
There really wasn't a ton. So, like, the interesting part about it is, you say cutting room floor. So, on Wednesday, you read through 45 scripts.
Damn.
They 45 full scripts. You do a full table read through with the whole cast and everybody in the room.
Right.
And then you chop that down to 11. And then you take 11 to the full dress rehearsal on Saturday night, 2 hours before the actual show. And then after that, so you have an hour and a half between the dress rehearsal and the actual show. You cut that 11 down to like 8. So it is truly wild how much happens and what goes on. So like one that got cut, that we cut right after the dress rehearsal before the show was it was just I'm in like a cabaret bar and I ended up on the stage singing. They probably cut it because of my absolutely horrendous vocals, which thankfully nobody had to hear that besides in the Frozen skit when I sang a little bit.
There you go. The Frozen skit.
Yeah, it's the whole process is truly incredible. How quickly they turn things around, how quickly and calmly they make decisions in no amount of time. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and then they got to do it again. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, in a way, like that's like it's a grind of a football season, right? It's a 1 week preparation for, in your case, 3 hours, maybe 3.5. For them, with a dress rehearsal, it is like 3 hours, and then you just okay, that's done. Let's do it again. It's unbelievable.
It's so similar, and it's really impressive. So and it all builds up, just like you said. You start on Monday, and you build up, you prepare, you read your scripts, just like studying your playbook, and then you're building up towards one live event with a real audience, with pressure on the line, with having to make changes and having to get your lines. And there's all these people, hundreds of people backstage shifting sets and moving stuff. It's literally, if one person screws up, it screws up the whole team. So it's just like sports. And I was talking to like some of the guys behind the scenes, and they were like, we've been doing this for 20 plus years, and the adrenaline that you get on Saturday night reminds me of when I played high school football or when I played, so it's very similar in that aspect where you're part of a team and you get the adrenaline rush, and there really aren't many places you can get that.
J.J. Watt here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then when it's all over, this one I've been to an SNL after party. I mean, it's insane. That thing that can go all night. So did you hit that too and like stay out 3-4 in the morning, that sort of thing? Did you hit that?
Absolutely. I told myself when I booked it, I was like, listen, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to let it loose, and I'm going to do the after party. And I have not stayed up until I think we got back to my hotel room like 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I have not stayed up that late in a long, long time. But well worth it. As you know, like you said, you've been to one. It's just the fun you have, the stories that are going around. It's a blast.
And then there's others who weren't, I guess, part of the broadcast show up. Did you got any names that people that just showed up and hung out?
I'm not a big name dropper, Rich.
Go for it.
I mean, I already dropped your name to get the gig. I would like to get it again.
Well done. Very well done, JJ. That's next level right there. I appreciate that. We just want to get in the behind the velvet ropes with you, JJ. That's all. Just trying to get that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you got to get behind the velvet ropes to get behind the velvet ropes.
Very good. And then did you, I guess, recuperate in time to watch the Super Bowl? Did you take that game in, JJ?
So I I flew back to Houston on Sunday, so I was flying during pretty much the first half. So I got back to my house sometime in the second half, and I caught the ending of it, caught the fourth quarter. So I got to see that.
So what do you think of the narrative that the Niners should have run more? Or what, I guess you're probably hearing all the second guessing of it. What did you think of the ending and somebody who's been on, if you will, the wrong end of a Mahomes run, or in a way knowing how an ebb and flow of a game just works out the way it just works out? I wonder what your 2 cents on the subject are.
I mean, I've always had this view, as an athlete and as you play and stuff, it is so easy to say what you should have done, or even when you're sitting at home watching a game as it's happening, what you should do in this situation, how a team should play it. And the truth is nobody's out there unless you're a former coach or a former player who's been in that situation, in that environment with that level of pressure on you and everything. I don't think anybody can sit here and say what you would have done, what you wouldn't have done, or how you should have played it. I'm sure they're doing that in their heads as they sit now, a couple days later. I mean, just like we did with our game a few weeks ago. You sit there the next couple of days and you look at it and you're like, what should we have done different? How could we have done what should? And even then, you don't have the answers. I mean, yeah. Should they have not given up points, and should they have scored points? Right. Absolutely. But, I mean, I wish it broke down like that,
And then the last one for you, a thought of you at Honors Night when I saw Calais Campbell get up there, the big man. He's going to have that patch on his chest now, like you have, Walter Payton Man of the Year. What's going on with you and your works down there in Houston that we can know about, get involved in, all that good stuff? What do you got?
First I want to say congrats to Calais. I texted him that night. He is truly deserving. He's one of the great guys in the game, and I love the way he plays. I love his attitude. I love seeing him every time, whether it's in the off season or after the game. He has such a big smile, and he's just such a great human being and a great guy. So I'm very excited and honored to welcome him to that fraternity because he truly does deserve it. With me, the foundation is still chugging along. I believe in the last month, we give people updates as we go on our Twitter page on how we're distributing the money. And I think in the month of January, we donated like $125,000 to schools throughout the country. And we just keep going quarter by quarter and trying to help as many kids as we can across the country.
You're the man, JJ. When I reached out to you, when I heard you got SNL, I mean, that's the pinnacle, brother. I mean, that is when you're a sports star and you're an athlete and you want to just have some fun and SNL reaches out to you. That's it. I mean, that's amazing. And you crushed it. So congrats.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you having me on, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Okay. So I can put this mug away now? Can I just put it back? What do you think?
Yeah, until the next time I need a big gig or an important call.
You got it, JJ. It'll be right here. It'll be right here in the old mothballs, hopefully for a long time. But take care of yourself.
Catch you later, my friend.
You got it right back at you. That's JJ Watt.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.